TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, the #1 sports information program in America, the Breakfast Bankroll, with your host, the sports broker, Jeff Dawson.
Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Breakfast Bankroll for Thursday, May 30th, 2024, the last Thursday of the month. Tomorrow, the last day of the month, Saturday, turn the page, June 1st, but we got a lot to talk to. Love this time of day and week. Get to head over the Sagamore Bridge down Route 3 to I-93 to the legend, the local sports guru, content king for DraftKings Sports, Mr. Julian Edlow, as we're high above courtside today, a week in advance, as the Celtics will host, who? Is it the Mavs, Kyrie and Luka? Up 3-1, tough game in Minnesota tonight, we'll get into that. Or do the Wolves do something that no one in the history of the NBA does, and that's come back from a 3-0 deficit. 5-point favorites today. And so people think that there'll be a game 6 in Dallas on Saturday, but we'll find that one out soon enough. Shout out to our proud sponsor and partnership, of course, WagerWire. If you haven't downloaded the app, head on over to Google Play, download it. It's free. Myself, Zach, Travis, Amber, Holly, Jay, everyone in this great community and team will take care of the rest. And if you're looking to make a little flash cash, send an email to affiliate@wagerwire.com. Tell them JD from ECSI sent you, and we'll go from there. The star of the show, Mr. Julian Edlow.
What's going on,
What's up,
Jeff?
Jules?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Hanging in there.
We're a week away. You will be a week away from entering the building. The place will be rocking, but there's still some work to do. Thoughts, Celtics with 10 days off and just sitting back. Obviously, Porzingis getting healthier.
I'm fine with the 10 days off. I would have been fine if the Mavericks would have swept 2 nights ago and we got 9 days off. That's me personally. I'd be fine catching up on some sleep, digging into a little football. That would have been fine by me. But we got a basketball game tonight that we can talk about. And then maybe we get a week off. But the Celtics, from a Celtics standpoint, I'm not worried about rust. They got 7 days off between the regular season to round 1 with the play-in tournament. And they blew out Miami game 1. They got 6 days off going to Cleveland. They blew out Cleveland game 1. And then they got 6 days going into Indy. Could have lost that one, but give them credit, they won the game. So they've done fine with 6 to 7 days off. I don't think 9-10 days off is going to make much of a difference. And it gives that chance for, almost like a mini training camp to prepare for the finals and to ramp Porzingis up with some full speed 5-on-5. I expect him to play in game 1. I said since he got hurt, it wouldn't surprise me if the return date is June 6th with game 1 of the NBA Finals already written in stone. Shouldn't need him to win the East. They didn't. They lost. They went what?
12-2.
9-1 without him.
Yeah.
So they will need him in the next round. They should win without him, to be honest, regardless of who it is. Need him more against Minnesota, but they should have him in the next round, and they will need him more. But I feel fine with where the Celtics are. I gave them out all year to win the East, and then we'll reassess. And I'm reassessing, and I think it's going to be Dallas, a team that they beat both times this year, a team that they beat by 26 with the PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford additions, with both teams playing their current starting lineups. So yeah, we're here, and now I like the Celtics in the series. If it is the Mavericks, prices for both series are up on DK Sportsbook. Celtics are around minus 215. But with Dallas, we're going to assume that a Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic team is not going to be the first team to blow a 3-0 lead, and that they're going to be able to close one of these final games out. So all the props are available on DK. So I like the Celtics laying a game and a half. I think they get it done in 6 or less. Both teams, Dallas and Boston, are really good road teams. So somewhat unfortunately, I think we might see a lot of road wins if that is the series. I could see the Celtics closing it out in 6. But I like the spot for game 1. And Dallas has been really poor in game 1s outside of Minnesota. But Minnesota was coming off shorter rest and that huge second half comeback against Denver in a game 7. So that was kind of a flat spot for them. So Celtics to win game 1 and the series gets that 215 price down to minus 130. And I think game 1 is a strong spot for them. So those are the two ways I would approach the series at this point. Seems like things are setting up for them to get over the hump. That's just the way it is. Championship would still count. And maybe that's kind of the one that you need to get the ball rolling to, really turn this into something that it should be for the Celtics. They should be a team that wins multiple championships, considering the players they have, the contracts they're on, and their age.
Well, you said a lot there, and I was grinning because I was thinking of I call it the Edlow special, win game 1, win the series. So your head's already there, right?
I do it with other games throughout the series. It's just, if you're going to bet the series with a bigger favorite or an underdog, like the Knicks were even money against the Sixers in round 1, I got them to win game 1 and the series at plus 190. Like, what do you need to, this is the question I always ask. It's a dumb question, but I always ask it when people are like, why do you bet the double results? What do you need to do to win a series, Jeff?
You got to win 4 games, but obviously
win games. So
yeah.
If you tie winning the series into winning games for a better price, that's good.
No, I love it. I do. I'm just trying to think off of the top of my head where their numbers have been against lesser opponents. My gut, maybe 5. Is that -5? I'm just thinking point spread off the top of my head. That seems like that would attract a lot of Dallas money. 4.5, 5-point favorites maybe at home against Dallas, or am I short there?
So I mean, like game 1 and 2, Indiana is really the best or the closest example, I guess, with Halliburton going, right? And those are like 8.5, 9.5s. So it obviously has to be lower than that, but not too low. I'm gonna say 5.5 game 1.
Okay. All right.
Feels about right. And again, I'll play, they've been good off the rest. It has not been rushed for them. Maybe bringing Porzingis back could throw a wrench in initially, but they are 3-0 to the first half team total in these game 1s at home in the postseason. So that'll be another look for me. Dallas, maybe this series goes a little further. You have been pushing a game 6 for sure. Which would be Saturday night, right?
Yes.
Saturday or Sunday. Okay. So now we're getting to the point where these teams are playing much deeper. I think Celtics first half team total, particularly against Dallas, maybe not. Minnesota's really good on the defensive end, but particularly against Dallas would be a pretty strong play.
All right. I'm going to get funny here, and it's just who I am. And listen, you and I all last year had a lot of talks, and you were telling me, stop it, Jeff. No, that's not happening. Nope, Jeff, that's not happening. Jaylen Brown, I love him to death. I love him to death. Wins the Eastern Conference MVP. Kind of shockingly, because all the numbers leading up to that game 4, Tatum was winning it, and then out of nowhere, Brown wins it. And of course, the knuckleheads at 98.5, they want to stir the pot, kick the bee's nest here. Will Tatum now say, all right, guys, fun's over now. I want that MVP title. Will he become more the alpha that he wants for branding, blah, 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 blah. But I'm going to take it a step further. I've been saying this a long, long time here, Julian. I think at some point Jalen wants to be that alpha, and I keep tying him to Houston, and I think he's got an out after this cup next year. So my question to you, just hypothetically, Celtics win the title, Tatum gets his MVP, Celtics play very good next year. Do you see them holding hands? Tatum getting even the bigger money now, and this team sticking together for 3, 4, 5 years? Or do you see that Jaylen Brown, hey, I want my own scenario?
In your hypothetical, they're winning the championship. So if they win, they stay together, because I think that gets them over the hump and gives them kind of the confidence. So I think they can. I think winning would be a good thing for keeping them together. Now, if they don't win this year, then when are they going to win it? That's the scenario where I could see Brown leaving. Like, if they don't win this year and it snowballs into, another loss in the East Finals next year or something, then Jaylen Brown could say, all right, I'm going to go do my own thing. This just is not going to happen. But if they win it this year, I expect them to stay together and find ways to keep it together and probably win again. If not next year, then, string together 2-3 championships over a 6-year window or something like that.
Olympic year. The assumption, I guess, I haven't heard boo about it. Tatum would be the Celtic player if a part of the Olympic team. Am I correct? Incorrect? I haven't heard a word about that.
I honestly haven't paid attention to it. But I know, like, some of the last times they've played, I think Holiday's playing. Holiday has played. White has played. Brown has played. Tatum has played. Any combination of those guys, I think, could be on the board. Okay.
Let's stay locals, and then we'll circle back to tonight's game. Patriots camp. May. I saw some clips again. Still patting the ball before he throws it. I swear that was Bledsoe. One of the Patriots quarterbacks used to pat the ball before they threw it. Anything you're hearing? Any NFL preseason over-unders? Anything in the NFL lanes, Patriots talk that you've seen since the last week that we talked?
NFL wise, I'm starting to use the Chiefs. I was talking to you about this before we went on. Chiefs to win the division is minus 225 on DK. I mean, I think that's a good bet by itself. If you're somebody that doesn't mind laying those type of numbers. Mahomes getting hurt is the way this team doesn't win the division. But I've just been starting to tie that into some season-long parlays, like use that as a piece to get better numbers because I like it so much. Player props, season-long player props is something that I've started digging into a little just because on the sweat on weekends on VSiN and DK Network, we've been asked to come up with some player props for some of the segments. So it kind of forced me to get going on that. The two that I've bet, I bet Saquon Barkley under 1125 rushing yards. He's done it in 2 of his 6 years in his career. Obviously, older running back, now going to the Eagles, a little bit injury prone. That's always a way you cash an under with a running back. But they have Kenneth Gainwell. They drafted Will Shipley, the kid from Clemson. The Eagles mix in more backs. So I think he's not going to be the workhorse he was with the Giants, particularly at this age. So given the other players, his age, and Jalen Hurts rushed for 600 plus yards last year, I think there's some paths to the under there. The other one, I actually did do an over. I bet Jaden Daniels over 500 rushing yards. Commanders quarterback. I assume he's going to start week 1 and probably not be all that great. His passing prop is pretty low. I think it's like 3,100 for the year. But what is he going to do when he gets in trouble? He's going to lean on what works for him, his legs. He ran for over this number in 12 games his last year at Arizona State. He ran for over this number in 12 games his first year at LSU. He ran for more than double this number in his Heisman year in 12 games at LSU. I just think it's a pretty modest number that if he doesn't get hurt, you could see him by like week 10 crossing this number and cashing it for you.
The 2 early games, I haven't even peeked. The very first game, the Chiefs, I thought it opened at 2.5. I've seen 3s against the Ravens, and then the next night in Brazil, Philly and the Packers. I think I've seen as high as Philly 1.5 there. When it gets to do you usually wait when it gets to those games, or are you one of the guys that will, if you see something early enough in one of these regular season games, you're not afraid to bite the apple early?
No, if it's week 1, I'll bet. Generally, anything within the first month of the season, I'll bet if I like it. So I like the Packers. I did get the Packers at a better number. It's moved a little bit in that Brazil game against the Eagles. I'm kind of against the Eagles. I'm on the Barkley under. I'm on the Eagles win total under. I understand they had a good draft, but is a good draft going to make an impact right away for them? That team was awful at the end of last year, and it all came to a head when they got smoked in that Monday night wildcard game down in Tampa. So I do like the Packers. The other one I like is the Browns in week 1. They host the Cowboys. I'm not a Deshaun Watson guy at all, and not because of the personal off the field stuff. I just think that also took away from his game. Rust, distraction, like he hasn't been good. That said, Dallas, I think, is overrated. Dallas hasn't been good away from home. It'll be better weather, you would assume, week 1, but still outdoors at Cleveland against a really good defense, best scoring defense at home last season. So I did play some Browns as an underdog week 1. And if you see something early in the season you like, I have no problem going for it.
The Amari Cooper revenge game. Remember that in all your props that game.
Yep.
So let's switch gears here, Jules. College baseball starting. Shout out to Dougie Wedge. He reached out to us on the DK Sportsbook right now. Open and line games and win it all games currently on the board. Tips off on Friday. Keep your eyes and ears there throughout the weekend for any additions there. And then college football. I know you guys got some stuff out there. Anything over the last week that you kind of caught your interest? Anything you're hearing? Anything where your eyes are?
I still have a win total that I can't give out because every other book is being a coward and won't put it up. Only DraftKings has it. Maybe that's enough information for you to find what it is, but I gotta wait. Obviously, DraftKings employee. I can't bet on DraftKings. So I'm gonna wait there. A couple of things though. I have started betting games, and again, you asked me about like NFL Week 1 games. This is all a personal preference thing, a bankroll thing. Like if you have the bankroll to bet games in August and September and let that money sit, versus waiting, you can get more information too when injuries happen and whatnot. If you're okay betting a game at a worse number in a couple months, go for it. But I have started betting some games because a lot more games have been coming up on the board. The 2 that I've bet so far for week 1. Thursday night game, UNC goes to Minnesota. Neither team should be all that good this year, but UNC returns is 127th out of 130, 134 or whatever in terms of returning production. Minnesota's 19th. So Minnesota's laying 1.5 points. That's a Thursday night game. Minnesota's the home team. lack of experience, early season, road team. I took Minnesota there. I think that'll close like Minnesota will be laying a field goal there by the time that game comes around. The other one's a little bit tougher to stomach, but I took West Virginia +10 home dog against Penn State. Penn State's real good, but West Virginia is a 9-win team from last year that brings back a ton of production. They played Penn State tough on the road in the opener last year. Penn State covered on a last-second touchdown because James Franklin tends to go for those covers. Otherwise, West Virginia would have covered. Now you're getting double digits at home. I think this is a good spot for West Virginia to at least push Penn State early in the season. So those are two games that I bet.
I can't wait the college football season. It's going to be different this year. No Pac-12, the super conferences, and then of course, it was easier this time of year to start formulating who will make the Final Four, start speculating, hey, if I win the division, obviously I'm in. I'm talking more SEC here, Alabama, the Georgias, and teams like that. The higher, the Ohio States of the world, the higher ranked teams where I'm going with. Now with the 12 teams, I'm not, especially in football, it's not a win and in. Someone sneaks in to March Madness. You've gotten dream runs where you've had 2 big weekends and you've gotten to the Final Four, and usually the buck stops there. But in this college football format, someone sneaks in at 12. There's no way in holy hell you're going through that gauntlet, Julian.
No, and especially because one of the smaller conference teams is guaranteed a bid. It's now the 4 major conferences and then another. So what's it going to be like? Boise State, I'm struggling to come up with another.
BYU,
Air Force. Well, no, BYU is power conference now.
Yeah, that's right.
So, like Air Force, Boise State. I don't know. So a team's going to be in there that is going to have a really good year to even contend.
James Madison.
Sure, James Madison. Like that type of team gets in and gets whatever, the 5 seed, because 1 through 4 get the bye. So what's the 5 going to be? Like a Notre Dame or an LSU or a
Clemson, Florida State.
Well, Clemson stinks. Get them out of there. But
okay,
yeah,
Florida State.
In theory, yeah, I know what you're saying. Florida State, sure, like that type of team. That probably is an ugly game.
And the funny thing, Julian, is once people start to finally see these, they're going to be scratching their head. They're going to be like, why do I want the Final Four? I just want 4. I don't need, maybe 8. We don't need 12.
It's just one game. The thing is, they're just trying to give that bid to the smaller school, which some years will be fun because some years it could work out. So I'll take the bad game with the good game, like, because there's going to be another fun game. There's going to be another, the 6 versus, what would it be? The 6 versus 11. Again, we're just pulling teams out of a hat here, but that, that could be like Utah and Alabama, or like those can be good games. So it's really one potential throwaway. It looks like this year there's not going to be that small school to come in and push anybody. It just early eyeballing it, but it could be. So there's going to be so many other good games, and it includes home field that I'm in until I see something that it would really not have to work for me to be out on this new format.
Yeah, and then lastly, the bitching and the whining, especially, because in the Final Four, it was usually, the whining that the SEC snuck in 2 teams with only 4 going to the dance. Now it will be, well, how does a 3-loss SEC team not get in over a 2-loss Big Ten, blah, 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 blah. So anyways, let's go to tonight's game. Wolves opened up 4.5, now 5. I don't want to say made a statement game 4. Listen, I think them having the home court the first two games was actually bad for them, meaning shocking the world, beating Denver, and then staying at home and reading your clippings, and everyone had already anointed them into the finals. A tough first game, then all the pressure on them in game two. They spit the bit. Now they got to go to Dallas, and Dallas really made a statement in that game three. The Wolves just haven't been able to close any games out until game four. Now riding the emotion. Ant told Micah, what size are you? 14? No problems. I'll have your sneakers in game six when we come back here. Thoughts on game five tonight, Jules? Minnesota and Dallas.
Yeah. Minnesota's been really streaky. Like, they won their first 6 games of the playoffs, then lost 3 in a row, then won 2 in a row to close out Denver, then lost 3 in a row to Dallas. Now they've won a game. It seems like they tend to carry momentum regardless of which way it's going. So I played, and now they're coming home, desperation spot. I played Minnesota -2.5 first half. I think they're going to come out with some momentum from that game, play well at home. But I'm not opposed to, I hope I cash that ticket, and then I'm not opposed to looking at Dallas on the live line and come back the other way, because Dallas has been closing games very well. So I still think Dallas wins the series. I don't know if it's tonight. I don't know if it's Saturday. But I'm starting with Minnesota first half, and I'll go from there.
I saw the series number, and again, no team has ever come back from 3-0 in the NBA. And I just thought after the first win, I thought some of the books were leaving the door open. I saw some plus 430s right now on the Wolves, 440s, which to me is a real short number, but almost like hinting that some of the books think, like I think that they can get to a game 6. And once it gets to a game 6, if it does, all the pressure now is on Luka and Kyrie. Hey, guys, we better close this out here in game 6, or not only is history on the line, but we got to go back to Minnesota. So the squeaky butt syndrome starts in Dallas if we talking about a game 6 Saturday night. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's always that situation in these like dominant series. It's 3-0 and a team gets one game, and we lay out the line for how this gets out of control, because you got to win this one. Otherwise, you're in the full pressure game at home where you don't have any more home games, where you have to go in the game 7 on the road. And like, it makes sense, makes sense, but also we push that narrative a little bit. Like, Dallas was still up 3-0 and just lost a game where they didn't play all that well. And Minnesota had to win. And now, like, the other way you can spin it, Dallas has 3 chances to win one game. If we take away the factor of, well, if they don't do it tonight, all the pressure's on them on the home game, and then they go to the game 7 where the Wolves are favored. I'm not there yet.
Jules, the scroll has been going the whole time. How we wrap up the show very simply is I throw you a nice little 7-yard button hook. Tell people why to download DK Sportsbook app, especially the locals. Any props, promos, bonuses for today, this weekend, and the start of June 1st on Saturday. And, of course, where they can find all your work. And, of course, when you're on TV, brother.
Yeah, everything's up on DraftKings. Every NFL game this season is up on DraftKings. We got a ton of college football up already. So just whatever you're looking to bet, it's there. I'm looking at our promos right now. Really, if you don't have DK Sportsbook, new customers, bonus bet up to $1,500 if your first bet loses. So whatever you want to put in up to $1,500 and bet it with confidence. If that bet doesn't win, you get it back in bonus bets. So that's a pretty good deal right there. I've not seen it as high as 1,500. It's usually 1,000. So you got that. The show, Sweat, VSiN, DK Network. It's on Twitter. It's on Samsung TV. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on weekends. We got one Saturday and Sunday this weekend. NBA playoffs, obviously, among other things.
Well, of course, I'll be joining it. Jules, as always, Have a great, great weekend. Go follow Julian on X at Julian Edlow, and of course, all his work at DK Sportsbook, DraftKings, etc. I'll see you this weekend on TV. Otherwise, we'll catch up on Thursday, Julian. Thank you so much.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Jeff.
Take care. The one and only Julian Edlow at Julian Edlow on Twitter or X. Of course, you can go find him on The Sweat Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on VSiN Live, on Samsung TV, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just text Matt Grissom. I think we're going to stick. Hey, Mr. Sailor, thank you. And, of course, shout out to Mr. Smooth himself. Happy Thursday, Sean Alvarez. Next Thursday, 1 o'clock, you're here talking the Bellbar. I can't wait for that. 4:30, 5 o'clock, the closing bell will be here. Where I was going, college baseball starts tomorrow. I was trying to pull in Matt Grissom and Quentin Mills. The schedule is kind of tight, one good, one bad. So currently going to stick to the 3 Men in the Box on Friday at 2:30. Some games will have started. If you're in Vegas or one of the 5 states, I think it's 5 circus available, they got the regionals up. Otherwise, if you're looking for some college baseball information, go follow Matt Grissom at Grissom on X, Quentin Mills at Q Millie, and of course the NCAA Insiders. Download. They got the regionals guide up for everyone that wants it on X. So go grab that. Some great, great information here. They did an amazing job. Matt making a lot of cameo appearances on VSiN. Couldn't be prouder of you. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, Julian Edlow, who has left the building, at Julian Edlow at DK Sportsbook at DraftKings. Wish everyone a blessed morning. Have some fun. Locals, the sun ain't out. It was beautiful yesterday. Let's hope it breaks through today. And I'll see you soon.